All right, so welcome to week 2 of our Medical Surgical Nursing 1, here NCMB 312. So today we're going to be discussing about coronary artery diseases. So when you say coronary artery diseases, these are afflictions or aberrations, affectations that affect your blood vessels, specifically your coronary arteries. So your coronary arteries are very important. Sabi nga natin sa first discussion natin, no? Because iniisipin natin, saan ba nanggagaling ang nourishment ng ating myocardium or ng ating heart in general? So where does oxygenated blood comes from? Okay? They do not absorb oxygenated blood from the inside of the heart. Okay? From the aorta stems out the coronary arteries and into your cardiac muscles. Okay? Okay, so sabi nga natin, di ba, saan ba nanggagaling yung coronary arteries natin? Of course, it comes from the aorta. Okay? So aorta delivers oxygen-rich blood, okay, to other parts of the body and also towards your heart. Okay? So again, your aorta delivers oxygen-rich blood to the body, okay, also to the blood. Tapos meron tayo again, this is you can see the anatomy of their human heart. Okay, so we have your sinoatrial node, okay, coming into the atrioventricular node and then to the bundle of His, okay, and upwards and downwards into the left bundle branch and the right bundle branch and out into your Purkinje fibers. Okay, okay, so when we age, okay, when there is aging, sabi natin, pag tumatanda tayo, there are physiologic changes. Okay? This might be normal or this might be not, but these are changes that occur as we age. So the aorta and arteries tend to become less distensible and less flexible. Okay? The aorta and your arteries are supposed to be distensible. They are able to distend. Okay? And then your arteries should be able also to flex. Okay? This gives them the ability to contract, okay, or to dilate and constrict. Okay, so constrict and dilation or dilatation of your blood vessels. Okay, kasi kapag hindi nag-constrict at hindi dilate, yan, there will be changes in your blood pressure. Okay, our blood pressure also is dictated by by a factor that is specifically the distension or the contraction and the constriction of your blood vessels, specifically your aortas. Okay, they become less responsive to catecholamines. Okay, and maximal exercise without maximal exercise, your heart rate declines. Okay, kapag nagtitraining ka, as an athlete or as a sports enthusiast, okay, your heart rate declines because natitrain yung heart mo. Natitrain yung heart mo to oxygenate more effectively without compensating for tachycardia. Okay? And then you also have your decreased heart rate of diastolic relaxation. So increase in BP is more pronounced for systolic BP rather than diastolic BP. So ibig sabihin daw, meron tayong, let's say for example, no? Meron tayong uh, BP, normally it's 120/80. Okay? Pronounced daw ang pagtaas ni systolic rather than the diastolic. Okay? So for example, tataas yan, you are an 84-year-old male, magiging 140/80 or baka naman 150/90. Okay? Again, let us remember that the difference between the systolic and the diastolic BP is what we term as your, okay, it's what we call as your pulse pressure. Okay? For example, your pulse pressure, 140 minus 80, so ilang pulse pressure yan? That is 240, 60. So the pulse pressure is 60, which is an abnormal pulse pressure. Okay, an abnormal pulse pressure may indicate changes in your atrioventricular uh, components of your heart or your arteriovenous components of your blood vessels. Okay, so sinasabi natin kapag malayo ang difference, malaki ang difference between the systolic BP and the diastolic BP, that would be your widening of your pulse pressure. Okay? However, kapag mababa lang, let's say for example 140, okay, over 130, that is just 10. So the pulse pressure is 10, that is narrowing of your pulse pressure. And any abnormalities in your pulse pressure can be attributed to cardiac diseases. Okay, it could be attributed to the narrowing of the blood vessels, the blocking of the coronary arteries, and other affectations of your cardiac muscles. Okay, so ayun. So the normal pulse pressure is around 20 to 40 millimeters of mercury. Okay, tatandaan natin yan. Okay. However, let us note that hypertension is not, okay, a normal age-related process. Ibig sabihin, kahit na tumatanda ka, it's not normal for you to increase your for your blood pressure to increase. It's not normal. There are many factors that has to be considered, okay, for the increase in your blood pressure, especially in aging adults, in aging clients. Okay, that would be your atherosclerosis, your arteriosclerosis, okay, the changes in the vascularities, like hindi na nagko-contract, hindi na nagko-constrict, or your vessels are not able to dilate as well, and there are deposits in the inside. There are fat deposits in the inside of your blood vessels that would cause blockage or narrowing. Okay, also the pagbaba or inotropic changes in your heart because of age or the maturity or age-related process in your cardiac activity. So there are many factors that we have to consider. Okay. Also, compensatory mechanism are delayed or insufficient. Okay, hindi masyadong mabilis ang compensatory mechanism natin. That's why you have orthostatic hypotension. When you say orthostatic hypotension, okay, this is hypotension that occurs when you stand up after a sitting or a lying position. Okay, for example, meron kang lolo. Okay, meron kang lolo, siya ay nakahiga, tapos bigla siyang tumayo. Okay, in a span of 30 seconds, nakatayo siya. What will happen? His pressure would go down dangerously low. Okay, causing syncopes, episodes of syncopes or nahihimatay, okay, and eventually risk of falls or injuries related to that fall. So the um, priority nursing education or health teaching that we should always teach our older patients is that is kahit na wala silang orthostatic hypotension. Okay, we should always incorporate this into our health teachings when trying to educate older people that whenever they are from a lying position, kaya nakahiga sila, they should not abruptly go up. Okay, so when they wake or when they go up, they should sit down at the bed first and dangle the legs for around 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Proximal would be 5 minutes. And then before they stand up. Okay. This allows for compensatory mechanisms to activate. Okay. And normalize the blood pressure that is changing from a sitting position from a lying down position. Okay. So also the thickness of the left ventricle wall may increase with age due to blood vessel changes. Yun nga yung sinasabi natin, di ba? Because of atherosclerosis or arteriosclerosis. So what is atherosclerosis? So atherosclerosis is mga deposits yan. Okay? Deposits at the inside of your blood vessels. Atherosclerosis. Okay? Okay? This is accumulated over the years. So, hindi lang bigla-biglaan ka nagkakaroon ng atherosclerosis. It's because of your diet, okay? Cigarette smoking, alcohol intake. That's why those are um, very related to cardiovascular diseases. Okay? Your smoking and your alcohol consumption. Okay? Next. Okay, so what is coronary artery disease? It's also known as your CAD or CHD. A coronary artery disease or coronary heart disease. Okay? It describes the heart disease caused by impaired coronary blood flow. Ibig sabihin, hindi po nakakadaloy ng maayos ang dugo sa iyong mga coronary arteries, okay, or coronary veins. Pero we're gonna be speaking about coronary arteries. That's why we'll be talking about arteries. Kapag mababawasan ng coronary artery blood flow, there would be, ano kasi sinasabi natin, there would be ischemia. Okay? After ischemia, there would be injury. And after injury, there would be irreversible necrosis. Okay? So again, this would lead to your myocardial infarction or heart attack. Okay? And the complications for this is your death. Okay? So the common causes atherosclerosis. So we ito, huh? Right? So there is fat deposits, okay, at the inside of your vessels. Okay? And coronary artery disease can cause angina or pain, okay, chest pain. Okay, myocardial infarction, landmark at my heart attack. Okay, it could cause also cardiac dysrhythmias like your atrial fibrillation, okay, atrial flutter, okay, and kapag nag-progress to, that would be your V-tach, ventricular tachycardia, and eventually VFib or ventricular fibrillation. Okay, conduction if defects, hindi nagko-conduct ng mabuti from the sinoatrial node and then delayed into the atrioventricular node, okay, and other nodes that would conduct the electric system of your heart. So again, causing cardiac dysrhythmias. It could cause heart failure as well because of insufficient oxygenation that is delivered from your heart vesicles and into your body. And then sudden death, sabi nga natin, it's always a complication of coronary artery disease, especially if it's grabe na. Okay? So men are more affected than women, okay, of course, kasi sa ating top causes of morbidity, cardiovascular diseases or cardiovascular problems are always number one in terms of males. Okay? And then approximately 80% of those who die of CHD are 65 years old. Okay? Because we also have what we call your kaninang discussion natin, the physiologic changes in your heart. So normally, nagbabago talaga ang structure ng heart natin because of maturity, because of old age, okay, and because of wear and tear. Kasi masyado na. Sabi nga natin, the heart is a muscle that has been beating since the first weeks of life until the end of it. Okay? Okay, so what do we have to inspect? Okay, during your physical assessment, you inspect for skin color, specifically your pallor or paleness. Okay, this is an early sign. Kapag wala ka ng oxygenation, okay, kasi namamatay na yung heart muscle mo due to your coronary artery disease and other factors, you would develop cyanosis or a bluish discoloration, cyanosis, or a bluish discoloration of your skin. Okay, your neck vein distension or your jugular veins are distended. Okay, respirations also changes. Okay, meron tayo mga takip niya. Okay, there is also increases in respiratory rate and other abnormal heart sounds because of a compensatory mechanism made by your body. Your peripheral edema, okay, namamaga ang ating mga paa, ang ating mga kamay, and palpation, okay, after palpating, you would notice decreased peripheral pulses or decreased strength and vigor of your peripheral pulses. Okay, ano pa ang pwede mo makita dyan kapag ipapulsate mo? You would be palpating a cold, clammy extremities. Okay? Yan ang sinasabi nating cold feet. Okay, hindi po yung naduduwag ka ha, you are having cold feet kasi naduduwag ka. No, you are having cold feet because of decreased blood flow. Okay, kasi all of this happens because of your decreased cardiac output. Okay, when you auscultate, you can hear heart sounds. Okay, sabi nga natin, that's S3 and S4. Okay, so okay, tawag dito, na illustrate or na ipakita ko na sa inyo heart sounds and don't make me, wag niyo na akong ulitin doon. Okay, you also have your murmurs, okay, or your abnormal heart sounds as well. And this is because of regurgitation, okay, and turbulent blood flow inside your heart and regurgitation of blood from the ventricles into the atria. Kasi dapat atria into the ventricles, dapat siya. A pericardial friction rub is heard as well. Okay, this is a heart sound that's originating from the pericardial sac. It may be a sign of inflammation, infection, or infiltration. So when you see a pericardial friction rub, it's always a danger sign. Okay, when you hear a pericardial friction rub, this is a loud noise. Okay, maririnig mo yan very clearly over the precordium using your stethoscope when you auscultate for it. Okay? And it is described as a short, high-pitched, scratchy sound. Katulad lang din na pag scratch natin ng isang paper or ng isang plastic. Okay? Right. So we also have your common clinical manifestation. We have your dyspnea. Okay, dyspnea on exertion. It may indicate decreased cardiac reserve. When you say dyspnea on exertion, kapag napagod ka, normally hindi ka naman talaga nagkakaroon ng difficulty of breathing. But this time, konting force, konting exertion ng effort, you experience dyspnea. So that is DOE or dyspnea on exertion. You also have your orthopnea, which is a symptom of a more advanced heart failure. Okay, that is being able to breathe only when you are standing up or sitting down and leaning forward. Kapag nakahiga ka, you are having a very hard time breathing. Okay, kasi nabulubog na po sa fluid ng iyong mga uh, alveoli. Okay, then we also have your paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea. This is severe SOB that usually occurs 2 to 5 hours after the onset of sleep. Okay, chest pain may be due to decreased coronary tissue perfusion or compression and irritation of nerve endings in your heart. So this is what we call your angina. Okay. Pag sinabi nating angina, this is pain that is originating from your heart. Okay? Angina ba kapag sumasakit ang dibdib mo dahil nasugat ka, dahil binugbog ka, okay, dahil hinampas yung dibdib mo? No. The angina is something that originates from your heart. Nanggagaling po sa puso mismo. Okay, namamatay na yung vessels, nagre-release ng lactic acid. So there are very numerous factors of why do we have angina. Okay? Edema is increased hydrostatic pressure in the venous system which causes the shifting of plasma resulting to interstitial fluid accumulation. So this has been continually discussed during your left-sided and heart-sided right your left-sided and right-sided heart failures, right? Syncope, episodes of unconsciousness or nahihimatay ka. This is due to decreased cerebral perfusion, decreased oxygenation, okay? And then palpitation. So palpitations yung kapag nararamdaman mo yung tibok ng puso mo sa tenga mo. Okay? Naririnig mo. You can hear your own heartbeat. So that is your palpitations. Okay? And fatigue, of course, because of decreased perfusion and decreased oxygenation also of your body organs. Okay. So how do we diagnose? We have your electrocardiography, your ECG. We have discussed this. So graphical recording of the heart's electrical activities. So the first diagnostic test is done when cardiovascular disorder is suspected. Okay? So we have, di ba, meron tayong P-wave, QRS, and ST segment. Okay? So those are notable, meron tayong mga noticeable changes. Okay? Specifically, your ST segment, it might be elevated or it might be depressed. Okay? Then you have your U-wave. Okay? Wala naman tayo usually U-wave kasi PQ or ST lang dapat ang ating normal sinus rhythm. When you can see U-wave, so that is an increase. Okay? An increased electrical conductivity. Okay? After the T wave, that is a U wave, it might signify, it might indicate hypokalemia. Okay? The PR interval, okay, medyo tumataas po ang ating PR interval or it could be shortened. And then the QRS complex could have imbalances because of ventricular delay. Right. Then we have your abnormalities in your ECG. So we have absent P wave or atrial defibrillation. Okay? So pag sinabi nating atrial fibrillation, kaya hindi na natin nakikita. There are P waves na hindi na natin mabibilang. Okay? It might be irregular. Okay? As compared to your atrial flutter. So, your atrial flutter, nakikita pa natin yan. Flutter, 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 QRS. Flutter, 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 QRS. Okay? Unlike for atrial fibrillation. Okay? For your ST segment, meron tayong ST segment elevation. Di ba meron tayong P, QRST, tapos, yan. Okay? Dito nakikita natin P, QRST, elevation, tapos, yan. So, nag-elevate to. Imbes na ganito lang siya, nagiging ganito siya. So, that is a signal or a sign of your myocardial infarction. Okay, we also have your third degree block, your prolonged PR, then progressively prolonged QRS complexes. So, for your third degree heart block, this is dissociated. Ibig sabihin, makakakita ka ng mga P waves pero baka walang QRS complexes. Makakita ka ng QRS pero baka walang P waves. Okay, so those are the hallmarks that we have to look for when we are looking out for third degree heart blocks, dissociation of your P and QRS complexes. Okay, and then we have your cardiac enzymes. So sabi natin we have your first, okay? Yung una nating tinitignan would be myoglobin. Okay, so sa myoglobin would increase, okay, within 30 minutes in your urine and 2 hours after MI. Okay, dapat 0.0 to 2 milligrams per deciliter lang yan. Okay, and in your blood, it's more than 73 milligram per deciliter. Kapag tumaas pa ng tumaas yan, less than, sorry, 70 milligram per deciliter. Kapag tumaas, so it might indicate coronary artery disease, okay, or your myocardial infarction. Okay, next we are looking for troponin. Troponin T and troponin I. Okay, again, troponin T, mga trop T and trop I. Okay. So this regulates calcium-mediated contractile process related during MI. Okay, so kapag daw nagko-contract, nagre-release tayo ng troponin. Kapag nag-e-exert ng extra effort because of myocardial infarction, because of coronary artery disease, cardiac muscle ischemia, or cardiac muscle injury, okay, troponin T and troponin I increases. Okay, it's only supposed to be less than 0.6 milligram per deciliter, but within 3 to 6 hours after MI, it remains elevated for 21 days upon the onset of your attack. So tumataas po siya up until 21 days. Okay. Okay, we also have your creatinine kinase or your CK. Okay? Creatinine kinase is not specific. Okay? Pero ano ang specific sa heart muscle? This would be your CKMB. Okay? Your ATP and your ADP is always producing creatinine kinase. Okay? So ATP is adenosine triphosphate and ADP is adenosine diphosphate. Okay? But if it is specific to myocardial activity, that would be your CKMB. It increases within 4 to 6 hours and decreases to normal within 2 to 3 days upon onset of your myocardial infarction. So for our normal values for males, it's going to be 12 to 70 milligrams per deciliter. And for your females, it's going to be 10 to 55 milligrams per deciliter. Any increase in your CKMB would signify coronary artery disease, myocardial infarction, and significant damage to your cardiac muscle tissues, okay? Or your cardiovascular problems, specifically from your heart. Okay. And then fourth, we go to your low density hypoprotein, like LDH. Okay. Specifically, LDH1 is the most sensitive indicator of your myocardial damage. Okay. The LDH1 is most sensitive indicator of your myocardial damage. So if we have our question, which of the following is the most specific diagnostic procedure, a diagnostic result that you should watch out for when you're assessing a patient who has myocardial damage? So that would be your LDH. Okay? Okay. So LDH stands for your lactate dehydrogenase. Okay? So again, di ba kapag nagkakaroon ka ng myocardial injury, okay, lactic acid or lactate forms. Therefore, mag-i-increase din po si ating lactate dehydrogenase upon myocardial infarction, coronary artery diseases causing your ischemic problems or ischemic effects in your heart. Okay? Okay, we also have your stress test or your treadmill test. Okay, after your, sabi natin, stress test or your treadmill test, okay, yung kapag you are asked to go on a treadmill and exercise, and after exercising or doing several rounds or several minutes into a treadmill, you are evaluated. You have your ECG and your heart evaluated for specific problems. So the purpose of the stress test or the treadmill test, that would be your TST, your treadmill stress test. Okay? Is to identify ischemic heart diseases, evaluate patients with chest pain or angina. Okay? You evaluate the effectiveness of therapy, kung may effect ba yung therapy mo or do you need another treatment modality. Okay? Also, you develop the appropriate fitness program. What fitness program will be useful for a patient? Okay? So you can evaluate that using your treadmill stress test. Okay? And then your instructions to your patient is to get adequate sleep prior to the test. Okay? So matulog po kayo bago po tayo magpa-treadmill stress test. So Tay, tomorrow po meron tayong TST, so kailangan po matulog po tayo, ha? Magpahinga po tayo kasi mapapagod po tayo bukas sa treadmill test na yon. Okay, understood? Then, you also ask the patient to avoid caffeinated beverages, okay, your tea and your alcohol, and then also smoking because it increases your cardiac rate or your heart rate. Okay? And then nitroglycerin, avoid nitroglycerin as well on the day before until the test day. Kasi we evaluate the patients for chest pain. And nitroglycerin is the um, drug of choice for your angina. Okay, therefore, kapag for example, mag-evaluate tayo ng chest pain pero magbibigay tayo ng nitroglycerin, ano mangyayari? Hindi siya makakaramdam ng chest pain kapag nag-treadmill stress test siya. Okay? Will the evaluation of the chest pain effective? Hindi. Okay? So, kailangan wag siyang mag-nitroglycerin kasi kailangan nating i-evaluate yung chest pain niya. Okay? What do have to instruct the client to wear comfortable clothes, loose-fitting clothes, and rubber sole shoes on the test day. Why? Kasi parang this is akin or this is similar to doing jogging inside the hospital for your treadmill stress test. Okay, you should have light breakfast on the day of the test. Please do not fast. Okay? Kasi mahihimatay ka. Okay? Wala tayo dapat fasting. And inform physician of any unusual sensations during the test, and you have to rest after the test. Okay? So that is your treadmill stress test. All right. Then you also have your pharmacologic test. Okay? Meron tayong injection of pharmacologic vasodilators like your dipyridamole, okay, adenosine, or your dobutamine in combination with other radionuclide myocardial imaging tests. Okay? So to evaluate the presence of significant coronary heart diseases for patients contraindicated in TST. So kapag hindi ka pwedeng mag-TST, what do? You do your pharmacologic stress test. Okay? So dipyridamole blocks cellular reabsorption of adenosine, okay, which is your endogenous vasodilator and increasing coronary blood flow 3 to 5 times above the baseline levels. Okay, so kapag meron kang coronary heart disease, the resistance vessel distal to the stenosis are already maximally dilated to maintain normal resting flow. So nagda-dilate daw ang mga malalayo, okay, sa ating area of stenosis or death. okay, or constriction. Further, vasodilation does not produce increased blood flow. Okay, and gagamitin natin si dobutamine kapag ang mga pasyente natin has bronchospastic pulmonary diseases. Eh, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin si dipyridamole dito. Right? And then, dobutamine increases myocardial oxygen demand by increasing cardiac contractility, heart rate, and BP. Okay, we also have your echocardiography or your 2D echo. This is to assess cardiac structure and mobility, okay, especially your chambers, your cardiac chambers and your cardiac uh, cardiac valve. Okay, Doppler ultrasound is to detect blood flow of artery and veins, specifically of lower extremities. Okay, kaya tayo hindi kaya natin wag nating pag sigarilyohin. Ibawalan na natin silang manigarilyo before the test. Okay? We also have your Holter monitoring, which is indicated, okay, for ECG monitoring of patients 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so meron kang mga ECG LEDs that are placed in your chest to monitor yung ECG activity for 24 to 48 hours. Okay, nandyan kapag nagpapagod ka, nagpupunta ka sa CR, nakahiga ka, nakaupo ka, natutulog ka. So it evaluates your cardiac activity, okay, all throughout all the activities that you do in your daily living. Okay, so MRI or magnetic resonance imaging, so these are magnetic fields. There are numerous magnets that are revolving around the person who is inside the MRI machine. Okay, radio waves are used to detect and define abnormalities in your tissues, including your aorta, your tumors, your cardiomyopathies, and pericardiac diseases. Okay, and it shows actual beating and blood flow image over three spatial dimensions. So, three-dimensional po itong mga to. How? We could cut, okay, mga slices of your MRI images. Okay? Nakikita natin yan section by section or cut by cut. Okay? So, what do we need to do prior to MRI? First is for us to secure informed consent. Okay, and after securing informed consent, we educate the patient on what to do during your MRI. Okay, so we also assess for claustrophobia. Why do we have to assess for claustrophobia? Kasi inside the MRI machine is a narrow space. Okay, and to add salt to the injury or to make things worse, naglalagay pa sila ng parang maliit na box or ng compartment for your head. For you not to be able to turn your head sideways or up and down because it's very stimulating and it's very distracting. Okay? Makikita mo at maririnig mo yung mga metal plates that revolve around your body while you are in the MRI. So that is to secure your head and to also to promote safety while undergoing your procedure. You also have to remove metal items. So alisin natin yung mga metal items. Cell phones, coins, jewelry, watches, belts. So those are the things that we have to watch out for. Yung mga rings, pakialis naman po yan. Why? Kasi there are very, very, very strong magnets that are revolving around your body, around your chest when you are doing your MRI. Okay, so kung napanood nyo na po ang Final Destination, Bloodlines, kung ayaw nyo maganon ang inyong mga pasyente, of course, you have to assess, okay, and instruct the patients to remove all metal items, okay, that they are carrying into the MRI machine. Okay. So also instruct the client to remain still during the entire procedure and inform him that the entire procedure will run from 45 to 60 minutes. Eh, kung malikot po kayo, magtatagal pa po sa isang oras yan. Ulit-ulitin po natin. Okay? So, and contraindicated for clients with pacemakers kasi merong batteries dyan sa mga yan and batteries can be attracted by magnet. So, kapag meron kang pacemaker, hindi na-assess, nagpa-MRI ka, it will be yanked out of your body. Okay, prosthetic valves, of course. Bawal yung mga yan. Minsan kasi may mga bakal sa ating mga valves sa heart. Okay, so imagine your valves being yanked out of your cardiac muscles and out into the MRI machine. So it causes death. Okay, recently implanted clips or wires, dapat wala din po yan. Okay, And then you also have, it's also contraindicated with patients who have metals in their bodies. Okay, yung mga titanium implants, mga alloys, all right? So inside the body, mga bakal sa paa because of wrist fracture. So those should be contraindicated. Those are the patients who are contraindicated to having MRIs. Okay. All right. So let's have a break first around 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. So we then discuss your angina pectoris or your myocardial ischemia after the break. Okay. All right. So we continue on with your angina pectoris or angina and your myocardial ischemia. So sabi natin angina. Angina is pain that originates from your heart or your heart vessels. Okay, and myocardial ischemia is decreased oxygenation of your myocardial muscles. Okay. So pag sinabi natin again, ischemia, it means suppressed, okay? Or decreased blood flow. Saan? Sa ating myocardium or those muscles that pump, okay? Ang nagpa-function to pump blood out of the heart, okay? Angina means to choke. It literally means to choke. So kapag nag-angina ka, para kang nawawalan ng hangin, okay? Nalulunod because of the pain. Okay, it occurs when blood supply is inadequate to meet the heart's metabolic demands. So napaka-demand, okay? High demand, high oxygen demand kasi ang ating heart muscles. That's why when there is inadequate oxygenation, there is inadequate perfusion or nutrient intake from the blood into your heart, okay? Ischemia occurs and ischemia releases lactic acid. Okay, kaya meron tayong mga lactate dehydrogenase increase, okay, which causes pain, which in turn causes your angina pectoris. So symptomatic paroxysmal chest pain or chest pressure sensation associated with transient ischemia. When you say transient ischemia, it means that hindi siya permanent. Okay? Masakit ngayon, pero later, okay na ako after a few seconds. So that is transient ischemia. Eh, hindi na nauulit ng nauulit yan. Okay, we have your types of angina. We have your stable angina. So this is the most common initial manifestation of a heart disease. So kapag sumasakit yung puso mo, that is what you call your angina. Okay? Common causes your atherosclerosis. So sinasabi natin, atherosclerosis is the buildup of plaque and fat deposits in the insides of your blood vessels, specifically your coronary arteries. So although atherosclerosis um, na-develop mo during in the advanced stage, does not develop angina. Pain is precipitated by the increased work demands of the heart, like your physical exertion, kung malamig, or there is increased exposure to cold and your emotional stress. That is the pain that you can feel in your heart is your stable angina. The pain location is in your precordium or your substernal chest area. And the pain characteristics is constricting, okay? Para kang sinasakal, squeezing, or suffocating sensation. It is usually steady, which increases in intensity only at the onset and end of attack. Okay? So it may radiate to the left shoulder, to the arm, to the jaw, or other chest areas, and the duration of your angina is less than 15 minutes. Okay, less than 15 minutes dapat ang angina mo lang if it's gonna be stable. Okay, it is relieved by rest. So kapag nagpahinga ka, humiga, umupo, hindi lumakad, okay, nagstay sa isang lugar and rest, okay, it is relieved. Or kapag nag-use ka ng NTG or your nitroglycerin, it is relieved as well. Okay, so nitroglycerin relieves and rest relieves a stable angina. Okay. Then we have your Prinzmetal angina or your variant and vasospastic angina. This is first described by Prinzmetal and Associates in 1659. Okay? It might be caused by the spasm or spasmodic actions of your coronary arteries due to coronary artery stenosis. Okay? And the mechanism is certain. Baka naman hindi tayo sigurado. But it could be from a number of causes like your hyperactive sympathetic responses. Okay? Kapag na-stress ka, you have Prinzmetal angina. Mishandling defects of calcium in smooth vascular muscles. So this is a calcium related abnormality as well. Okay? And reduced prostaglandin I2 production. Okay? Ano ba to? Okay, so reduced prostaglandin I2 production, okay, it's common in your diabetes mellitus. Okay? Kaya lagi tayong merong nararamdamang Prinzmetal angina if you have diabetes mellitus that would progress to your heart failure or myocardial infarction. Okay? Right? And then we also have your, nasa na tayo, pain characteristics occurs during rest. Kahit nakapahinga ka, it occurs and with minimal exercise. So that is your Prinzmetal angina versus your stable angina that is precipitated by action, precipitated by exercise and increased myocardiac workload. Okay. It commonly follows a cyclic or regular pattern of occurrence, like the same time each day, usually in the morning or in the early hours of the day. Okay. And if the client is for cardiac catheterization, we go for your ergonavin. Okay. We give ergonavin or your non-specific vasoconstrictor and may be administered to evoke anginal attack. So we will try to replicate an attack, isang ang yung anginal attack, and demonstrate the presence and the location of the spasm. So, doblehin na natin yung purpose ng yung cardiac catheterization natin. Okay? Not only determining or placing stents or placing meshes around the blood vessels or in the blood vessels that causes myocardial infarction or decrease oxygenation or stenosis or damage, but we can also pinpoint the location in the presence of your vasospastic actions that causes your Prinzmetal angina. Okay, nocturnal angina is frequently occurring nocturnally during sleep, okay, and may be associated with REM stage of sleep. So what is REM? REM is your rapid eye movement. Okay, kapag nananaginip tayo, we have your REM sleep. Rapid eye movement. Okay? So, nangyayari daw kapag rapid eye movement, si ating nocturnal angina. And rapid eye movement is usually associated with us having dreams. Kapag nananaginip tayo, for sure, nasa REM stage of sleep tayo. Okay? So, merong instances that we can experience angina during our rapid eye movement and causes nocturnal angina. Okay, we also have what you call your angina decubitus or your paroxysmal chest pain that occurs when the client sits or stands up. Okay, and then you also have your post-infarction angina, which occurs after myocardial infarction when residual ischemia may cause episodes of angina. So kapag may MI ka, pwede ka pang hindi na pag nagamot ka na, pwede ka namang magkaroon pa ng ischemia kasi meron pang mga residual ischemia, meron pang hindi na oxygenate ng mabuti. Right? Right. Then we have your detailed pain history. Our diagnosis is determined by our detailed pain history. Kailan niyo po nararamdaman? Tuwing kailan? Tuwing umaga, tuwing gabi, kapag nag-exercise, kapag walang ginagawa, kapag naglalakad, kapag nagpapahinga. So we all have to assess the history of the pain, including the localization. Saan po nanggagaling, and including the radiation. Tandaan natin meron tayong, tandaan natin na meron tayo Meron tayong tinatawag na PQRST kapag nagpe-pain assessment tayo. Alam niyo na dapat to because you have been assessing pain. Okay? Peak stands for your provocating factors. Tuwing kailan? Anong nangyayari? Bakit? What are your precipitating factors? Okay? Q stands for your quality. Gaano kasakit? Ano ang quality? Is it stabbing? Is it crushing? Is it radiating? R is your radiation. Kung saan napupunta? Nag-originate sa chest, napupunta sa arms, sa neck, sa jaw. Okay? And then S is severity. Gaano kalala? Gaano ka-gentle? And then T is your timing and treatment. Tuwing kailan po ba or nagre-respond ba yan sa medication? Okay. Also, meron tayong tinatawag na ECG. Okay, so your ECG also evaluates the presence of ischemia, specifically changes in your P wave, okay, elongation or elevation of your ST segment, presence of U waves, okay, and widening and narrowing of your QRS complexes. TST stands for your treadmill stress test. So we have explained treadmill strength test a while ago, stress test a while ago. Your angiogram may also be used to confirm and describe the type of angina that a patient or a client is experiencing. Okay, so the treatment is directed towards the prevention of MI. Okay, pero syempre kailangan din nating i-treat yung pain na nararamdaman ng pasyente. Okay, so pag sinabi natin towards MI prevention, we do lifestyle modification. Okay? Individualized regular exercise program. We do not have a general or a pangkalahatang exercise program sa ating mga kliyente. Lagi nating tatandaan that whenever we try to advise patients to exercise, they do it sa level na kaya nila. Okay, so kailangan individualize. Okay, they have to recognize what you and the patient has to recognize what limitations do they have. Okay, when they trying to exercise. Kung ang tolerance nila nasa 5 minutes lang, 10 minutes lang ba yan? Or kaya ko ng 30 minutes or up until 1 hour? So, depende sa limitations ni ating pasyente. Okay. And then you have your smoking cessation. Lagi nating sinasabi cessation, hindi po yung decrease. Kapag sinabi nating decrease, hindi tayo nagiging nurses. Okay. So we always have to instruct the patient, sir, naninigarilyo po ba sila? Opo. Eh sir, ang gagawin niyo po, tigil na po ang paninigarilyo. Iwasan na po manigarilyo. Huwag na po tayong manigarilyo kasi hindi po tama yan. Marami pong affectation sa ating katawan, specifically sa inyong puso. Okay? Numinipis po ang daluyan ng dugo, nabablock po or nababaraduhan po kayo ng mga daluyan ng dugo or mga ugat sa inyong puso kaya po kayo nagkakaroon ng chest pains. Kaya baka po magkaroon kayo ng atake sa puso pag nagkataon. So we always advise the patient to cease smoking. Therefore, we have smoking cessation programs that are available for our clients or our patients. Stress reduction, okay, we also have to reduce stress kasi stress increases your heart rate. Okay? Tapos, it also increases your workload, cardiac workload. Okay? So, kailangan mabawasan itong mga to. Okay? In a manageable level. Diet changes. So, pag sinabi natin diet changes, that would be your low fat. Okay? Low salt diet. Okay? Ibig sabihin, walang lasang pagkain. bland diet. Okay? So, kapag low fat and low salt, okay, kaya din po nating ibigay sa pasyente yan. Ano po ba ang mga pagkain? Sa tingin niyo po, ano yung mga pagkain kailangan yung iwasan at ano mga pagkain kailangan yung kainin? Okay? Avoidance of cold because cold precipitate angina kapag masyadong malalamig. And PTCA is your percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty. It's an angioplasty, ibig sabihin, nire-repair po ang ating mga blood vessels or coronary blood vessels. It may be indicated if with severe artery occlusion at hindi na kayang bawasan ng ating mga medications or ng modifications in our lifestyle. Okay? And then we have your drug therapy. We have your NTG or your nitroglycerin. Nasaan na ba? Okay, nitroglycerin, kanina pa natin sinasabi si NTG. So meron tayong patch. Okay, nitroglycerin patch is number 1. Ibig sabihin, saan natin nilalagay? Okay, sa ating dibdib. Okay, so transdermal yan. Okay. Then we also have your sublingual or sa ilalim ng dila. Kasi kung titignan nyo po yung mga dila nyo, these are full of blood vessels and nerve endings and capillaries. Okay, we also have your oral nitroglycerin and your IV nitroglycerin. So the nitroglycerin is the first drug of choice for your angina. Okay, we also have your beta-adrenergic blockers, okay, like your propranolol or your atenolol. So kapag nakita kayo ng mga OLOL or mga alol, those are your beta-adrenergic blockers. Okay, we also have your metoprolol. Okay, and then calcium channel blockers naman, your mga nifedipine, cardipine, nicardipine, those are your calcium channel blockers. Also your diltiazem or cardizem. Usually makikita natin to sa mga matatanda, cardizem. Calciblock or neoblock, those are your calcium channel blockers. Okay. And then we also have your lipid-lowering agents or your statins, your simvastatin, atorvastatin, rosuvastatin, those are your statins. Kapag merong mga statins sa kanyang mga pangalan. Okay, we also have your anticoagulants or preventing the formation of blood clots. Kasi sabi natin, we are preventing instances of myocardial infarction, right? So there should be no blood clot that travels the body. Okay? So ASA or acetic acid, okay? Aspirin, and then heparin, sodium, and warfarin or your Coumadin. Okay. Kapag ang heparin, nagkakaroon tayo ng toxicity of heparin, masyado tayong madaming heparin. Ano yung binibigay natin sa pasyente? Okay, we have to have, saan ako magsusulat? Okay. We have to have what you call your protamine sulfate. Okay, that is nasa yung E. Protamine sulfate. Okay, itong ating pangalan nito, counter agent or ang ating mga anti-drug toxicity for heparin. Kapag warfarin naman, it is vitamin K. Okay. Okay, so we can classify angina based on their classes. Okay, so for example, class 1 angina. Class 1 angina that occurs with strenuous, rapid, or prolonged exertion at work or recreation. So kapag ano ka lang, pagod ka, hindi ka naman talaga nakaka-experience ng chest pain, sobra-sobra kang napagod, naglakad ka mula Our Lady of Fatima University hanggang SM Pampanga, tapos sumakit yung dibdib mo, that's your class 1 angina. Okay? And then class 2, kapag angina that occurs on walking or going up the stairs rapidly or after meals. Okay, kunyari, umakyat ka, mabilis, papunta sa 4th floor ng SJB. Okay, walking uphill, walking more than 2 blocks, naglakad ka mula sa room natin sa SJB hanggang sa SM, hanggang sa Genera Mall, Sindalan. Okay? Or going more than one flight of ordinary stairs at normal pace under emotional stress or in cold, that is your class 2 angina. Okay, class 2. Class 3 angina occurs on walking 1 to 2 blocks lang on the level kapag patagandaan or going one flight of ordinary stairs at normal pace. Okay, kapag umakyat ka, inutusan kita, uy, puntahan mo nga si Ma'am Day sa 2nd floor. Tapos pinuntahan mo, pagdating mo kay Ma'am D, sumasakit yung dibdib mo, nag-angina ka na. That is your class 3 angina. And finally, we have your class 4 angina, which angina that occurs even at rest. Okay, kahit nakaupo lang kayo dyan sa mga bahay ninyo, nagkakaroon kayo ng angina. That is class 4 angina. Okay, so what are our nursing management for your angina? Okay, diet instructions. So what do we instruct? So low salt, low fat, low cholesterol, and high fiber. We should avoid animal fats. Yung mga taba-taba, wag na muna pong kumain. Pag kumakain po ng pares, overload, or ng lomi, or ng mami sa kanto, wag na po mangina extra taba. that is dangerous. Okay? Even lalo na kapag meron kayong mga angina. Okay? So we only eat white meat, like your chicken without skin or your fish, pero we have to be careful. Ang tuna po ay red meat yan. It contains a lot of hemoglobin or hemocytes sa kanilang mga tissue, sa kanilang mga laman. Kaya malakas po yan sa, hindi po sila pwedeng kainin ng ating mga patients with diet modifications of low salt, low fat, and low cholesterol diet. Okay? You all have to stop smoking. Do not reduce smoking. You have to totally stop your smoking, okay? And avoid your alcohol. Huwag na muna po. May sakit na nga kayo eh. Unahin nyo pa yung shot eh. 'Di ba? Okay, so you have to teach your patients that. Also, activity restrictions are placed within clients' limitations. Avoid strenuous activities. Okay, do not tire yourself out. Kasi kung nakaka-experience ka ng angina, kapag gumagawa ka ng mga bagay-bagay na ikakapagod mo, you will be putting yourselves at risk. Okay? And then NTGs or nitroglycerins, a maximum of 3 doses at 5-minute interval. A maximum of 3 doses per day at 5 minutes intervals. Okay, during attacks. Okay? So what are patient teachings? There can be stinging sensation under the tongue for sublingual. Normally lang po yun. Okay? Advise clients to always carry 3 tablets kasi baka naman hindi pa pwede yung isa, dalawa, dapat maximum of 3 doses per attack. Okay? Store the medications in a cool and dry place. Okay, with your airtight amber bottles, yung mga parang black natin na mga bote, wag po nating store sa ating mga clear bottles because sunlight can pass through them. Okay? And change stocks every 6 months. Palitan naman natin. Kapag hindi nagamit after 6 months, we discard properly and then we replace our stocks. Okay? Inform clients that headache, dizziness, flush face are common side effects of nitroglycerin. Okay? And do not discontinue the drug. Huwag natin i-discontinue yung drug hanggat walang physician clearance. Okay, for patches, we have to rotate the skin sites sa insertion or adhesion, usually on our chest wall. Pero paikot-ikutin po natin yan. Instruct on evaluation of effectiveness based on pain relief. Okay, so we have to evaluate the effectiveness of pain. Nabawasan po ba ang pain ninyo? Nadagdagan or hindi nag-epekto yung ating nitroglycerin? Okay? Then for propranolol to. It causes bronchospasm and hypoglycemia. Do not administer to asthmatic patients or diabetic clients. Okay, and heparin, we have to monitor bleeding tendency. So avoid punctures kapag nag-heparin therapy si patient. And use of soft bristled toothbrush to prevent bleeding of your gums. Okay, you have to monitor partial thromboplastin time levels. Used for 2 weeks maximum lang si heparin. Do not massage if via subcutaneous and have protamine sulfate available. So this is the antidote for your heparin toxicity. Okay. Comadine, monitor for bleeding and prothrombin time or PT. Always have vitamin K readily available. Okay, bakit si vitamin K? Kasi yan din ang antidote natin for Comadine or warfarin. Okay? And avoid green leafy veggies. Bakit kaya natin i-avoid si green leafy veggies? Kasi green leafy veggies have are very rich sources of your vitamin K or your phytomenadione. Okay? Kapag nagva-vitamin K ka at nagko-comadine ka, it cancels it out. Walang nagiging effect si comadine sa'yo. So you have to, pansamantala, while you are having vitamin K therapy, iwasan muna po natin ang green leafy vegetables. All right, then we have your myocardial infarction. All right, so we go to myocardial infarction. Okay. So myocardial infarction, parang unstable angina yan. Okay, meron ka ding non-ST segment elevation, myocardial infarction. So kapag myocardial infarction, you can either have an ST segment elevation myocardial infarction, which we call your STEMI. Okay, and your NSTEMI or your non-ST elevation myocardial infarction. Okay? So it is a clinical syndrome of myocardial ischemia. Okay, ischemia again, decrease oxygenation, decrease perfusion ng ano? Ng iyong myocardium or your cardiac muscles. Okay? The causes may be atherosclerotic, okay, plaque distribution, or significant coronary heart disease. Okay? Cocaine use is also a risk factor. Okay, so we have 3 presentations, okay, or D3 defining guidelines for you to be able to be diagnosed with myocardial infarction. Okay, you have symptoms that manifest even at rest. Usually prolonged po, like your angina, okay, your chest pain is prolonged for more than 20 minutes. Okay, then you have new onset of exertional angina. Ibig sabihin, increasing severity of at least one class to at least class 3 in 2 months. So dati, wala ka namang angina, tapos nagkaroon ka ng angina. Okay? Then your recent acceleration of angina to at least class 3 in less than 2 months. So for example, class 2, dati class 2 ka, in less than 2 months, next week naging class 3 or class 4 ka. Okay, that is your recent acceleration. So your diagnosis also is based on your pain severity and presenting symptoms. Okay. So again, when you try to evaluate for pain, you look for PQRST. That's new R. RST. Okay. ECG findings. Sabi nga natin, you have STEMI or non-STEMI. We also have your P-wave changes, the narrowing and the widening of your QRS complex, and also the presence of U waves. And also serum cardiac markers. So when you say serum cardiac markers, these are your myoglobin, your troponin T, troponin I, also your CKMB, and your lactate dehydrogenase or your LDH. So when chest pain has been unremitting for more than 20 minutes, there is a possibility of ST segment elevation, MI. Okay, so STEMI po yan usually. Kapag more than 20 minutes na ang cardiac pain mo or yung chest pain that is originating from your heart. Okay? Okay, so we also have your ST cell elevation, myocardial infarction. It is characterized by ischemic death of myocardial tissue associated with atherosclerotic disease of the coronary arteries. So you have coronary artery disease that results from atherosclerosis of these said arteries. So narrowing or blocking of your blood vessels. Okay, transporting energy, nutrient-rich and oxygen-rich blood from your heart through the aorta and through the uh, coronary arteries to your cardiac muscles. Okay, the area of infarction is determined by the affected coronary artery and its distribution of blood flow. Okay, so right coronary artery kapag ito ang naapektuhan. So you have right coronary artery disease. Okay, so yun ang infarction niya. Left anterior descending artery and left circumflex artery is usually the most common. Okay. Diagnosis based on presenting signs and symptoms, right? Like your chest pain, okay, that radiates or PQ or ST. Again, you evaluate for the quality, the radiation, okay, the severity of your pain, also the treatment or the tawag dito, its response to treatment. Your serum markers, ECG changes may or may not be present immediately after symptoms except for some dysrhythmias. Okay, premature ventricular contractions are common after your myocardial infarction. Okay, so the most typical ECG changes of your ST elevation, SSE segment elevation myocardial infarction would be ST segment elevation. So sabi nga natin, okay, there is elevation of your ST segment prior to your T-wave. Okay? And T-wave inversion, di ba kapag T-wave natin dapat upright, nagkakaroon ka ng, dahil meron kang elevation, nagkakaroon ng depression pagdating mo ng T-wave mo. Okay? Right. Also, let's go here. Okay. Right. So you have the following manifestations for myocardial infarction. So chest pain. So ano daw ang chest pain niya? It's severe, crushing, constricting, and someone sitting on my chest. Okay, so parang may nakadagan. Parang nakadagan yung ano, may nakadagan sa dibdib ko. Tapos, saan papunta? Okay, it radiates to your left arm, the neck or the jaw. Papunta sa mga kamay ko. Yung likod ko, yung ano dito sa may pisngi ko, leeg ko, masakit na rin. Okay, and then it has to be prolonged more than 35 minutes and not relieved by rest. So kahit na nagpahinga na siya, okay, humiga, umupo, hindi nagtrabaho, masakit pa rin, and it persists for more than 35 minutes. So that is one of your manifestations of your myocardial infarction. You also have shortness of breath or SOB, of course, kasi nagdi-decompensate yung katawan mo for the shortness of breath. Bumibilis na ang yung breathing or yung respirations. You also have profuse respiration, especially because of the feelings of impending doom or anxiety. So hindi mo alam, hindi mo alam kung ano, pero parang nararamdaman mo na may nangyayari, na may paparating. Okay? So complications is usually death, which is usually within 1 hour of your onset. Heart failure and cardiogenic shock are also your complications, okay? Especially following a profound left ventricular failure, okay, due to low cardiac output. Okay? You also have your thromboemboli, which leads to immobility and impaired cardiac function, contributed to blood stasis in your veins. There is a blockage, di ba? And then rupture of your myocardium kapag hindi na kinaya yung pressure build up inside the heart muscles. We also have your ventricular aneurysms or pumuputok, lumamaga ang mga arteries and veins natin. Okay? Decreases pumping efficiency of your heart and increases the work of your left ventricle. So all of these are complications, okay, of your myocardial infarction. Okay, let's go to the tissue changes after myocardial infarction. Diba? I want you all to remember, we have what we call your ischemia. So una ischemia, kung hindi inarrest si ischemia, magiging siyang injury. Okay, kapag continuous injury, you have your necrosis, which is a reversible process. Okay, so the time after onset would be 0 to 0.5 hours. This is reversible injury pa. Okay, with treatment. Okay. And then 1 to 2 hours after the onset, palapit na, meron ka ng irreversible injury. Hindi pa naman totally, pero nag-uumpisa na siya. Okay. 4 to 12 hours, beginning of your coagulative necrosis. So nagko-coagulate na yung muscles mo, yung tissues mo, because it starts to necrotize already. Okay. I want you all to remember that we have two types of your necrosis. Okay. When you say necrosis, this is tissue death. Okay, meron tayong coagulative necrosis, okay, katulad dito sa ating myocardial infarction. And then meron din tayong liquefactive. So you have your liquefactive necrosis, okay, wherein tissues liquefy or natutunaw sila. As compared to coagulative necrosis, nagbubuo-buo, nagsasama-sama. Okay? Then 18 to 24 hours after the onset of initial manifestations, okay, you have your continued necrosis. So paunti-unti at pabuo-buo ng nagkakaroon ng tissue death, okay, gross pallor of infected tissue, which is an earlier indication of discoloration of your skin. Okay? 1 to 3 days after onset, you have your total necrosis. Patay na po yan. It's irreversible already. You can no longer do anything to revive or to bring back the cells to its normal function. Okay? Then the onset of acute inflammatory process begins. Okay? Kasi nagkaroon ka ng necrosis. So this is treated already as a foreign object or a foreign body. 3 to 7 days after your onset, the infarcted area becomes soft with a yellow-brown center and your hyperemic edges. Okay, parang hindi na belong sa tissue to. Parang hindi na siya kasapi kasi magkaiba na po ang itsura niya sa normal tissue. 7 to 10 days after onset, you have minimally soft and yellow tissues with vascularized edges. So nagkakaroon na ng vascularization. There is also scar tissue generation due to your fibroblastic activity. And 8 weeks after the onset, meron ka ng complete scar tissue replacement. So, sir, it already has tissue replacement. Yes, but what replaced it? It is replaced by your scar tissue. And scar tissue does not act the same as your myocardial tissue. It does not pump blood. It is not well suited for the purpose of your myocardium. Okay? Wala na siya, hindi na siya nadadaanan ng electrical impulses. So patay na siya, dead zone na siya sa ating kung tutuusin. Okay? Also, what are the management of your MI? We have what you call your OMEN. So O stands for oxygen therapy. Okay? So, via nasal prongs po tayo dyan. And adequate analgesia stands for M or your morphine. Okay? This will be your pain management for your myocardial infarction. ECG monitoring ang kailangan natin. Okay, we have to monitor kung ano na bang nangyayari sa heart. Baka naman nagkakaroon na yan ng fibrillation, ng tachycardia, specifically atrial and ventricular tachycardia, also your atrial fibrillation and atrial flutter. Okay? Pinaka-danger sign po dyan would be your ventricular fibrillations, which is always a medical emergency. Okay? You have your sublingual nitroglycerin as well. Okay, pag sinabi natin sublingual ulit, the drug is put under the tongue. So unless contraindicated, okay, IV natin may be given to limit infarction size, and most effective is given within 4 hours of onset. Okay. Next would be your thrombolytic therapy. Thrombolytic therapy, the best results occur if initiated within 60 to 90 minutes. Okay, if it's initiated within 60 to 90 minutes of your onset with streptokinase and urokinase, which promote conversion of plasminogen to plasmin. Okay, so streptokinase or urokinase are your thrombolytics. Okay, tinutunaw po nila yung ating mga thrombi, okay, or yung mga blood clots natin. Let us remember and let us put into mind that thrombolytics is very, very far and very not related for anticoagulants. Okay? Ano ulit yung anticoagulants? Anticoagulants prevent the clotting of the blood. Dito sa thrombolytics, may clot na siya. It acts on the clot and dissolves the clot. Okay? Dito sa anticoagulants, hindi sila nagka-clot ng blood. So you have your aspirin, okay? You have your heparin, and you have your warfarin. Okay, dito sa ating thrombolytics, we have our streptokinase and our urokinase. Okay. Management also is antiarrhythmics like your lidocaine, your atropine, and propranolol. Okay, you also have your anticoagulants and antiplatelets like this one, yung sinabi ko sa inyo, your aspirin, the heparin, and your warfarin as well. Also, okay, stool softeners. So it's very far. Bakit ang layo ni stool softeners? Pero it's very important and integral when we are doing our health teachings to our patient. Why? Because it prevents straining, sorry. It prevents straining. Ang straining umiire kapag tumatae or nagdudumi. Okay, because straining activates the Valsalva maneuver. Okay, yung Valsalva maneuver natin na-activate, therefore, nagkakaroon ka ng decreased cardiac output lalo. Okay, so you have to remember OMED, oxygen, morphine, ECG, and your NTG or nitroglycerin. Okay, you have your revascularization. Okay, nagkakaroon ka ng bagong vascularization. You are developing new blood vessels to oxygenate and bring nutrients to the necrotized or ischemic tissues. You have your PTCA or your percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty, also your coronary stent implantation and your artery bypass graft. Specifically if there would be no response to medical treatment in your percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty or PTCA. Okay, and then if merong aneurysm, you do your resection. Okay, when you do your resection, for example, this is the aneurysm. This is the aneurysm. Resectioning is to cut this one. Okay, and i-connect mo, yun. I-skip mo yung isang part. So that is what you call your resection surgeon. Okay? All right, so that is your coronary artery bypass. Look at the cholesterol buildup. So this is your atherosclerosis. Okay, so your balloon angioplasty is inserted via your femoral arteries or your radial and brachial arteries. Okay, tapos nag-i-insert na ng isang maliit na instrument. Okay, and when it reaches the site of injury or the site of blockage or atherosclerosis, it opens up into this mesh wire. Okay, that's just your stent. This is called your stent. Okay, after this one, nag-open up yan and inaalis na po natin yung prong natin or yung probe. Okay, leaving the mesh behind, therefore dilating the occluded blood vessel. Okay. All right. So you have your promote oxygenation. Okay, you promote oxygenation and tissue perfusion. You place the client on semi-Fowler's position because of increased and maximal lung capacity. Your oxygen via nasal cannula, like 2 to 3 liters per minute. And more than this one, you do your oxygen mask. And more than the oxygen mask, you do your Venturi already. Okay? You monitor vital signs changes, especially your blood pressure, your heart rate, and your respiratory rate. You remind client on his activity limitations and restrictions. Okay? You also have to promote comfort and rest. Okay? For complications not to develop and for the alleviation of your symptoms. Okay? You monitor the vital signs. Okay? Your BP, your HR, your RR, and your O2 saturation. Okay? Your ECG, you have to hook the patient on a 24-hour monitor that could measure his ECG. Okay? You also have to identify the rate and count the rhythm of the pulses. Okay? And then also the effects of the activities of daily living on cardiac status. Right? Then you do your diet. What diet? Low salt, low cholesterol, low calories. Okay? You avoid alcohol and avoid smoking. And specifically, you have to take prescribed medications at a regular basis. So this has to be done religiously and not kapag may nararamdaman ka lang ng symptoms, doon ka lang iinom ng gamot. Okay? You do your stress management and you resume sexual activity after 46 weeks from discharge or when client can already go up to flight of stairs without difficulty. So wag mo na muna pong mag-sex agad-agad after myocardial infarction treatment. Kasi baka mamatay ka sa sarap. Diyos ko, habang nagpapasarap ka, bigla kang inatake ulit sa puso. Nawalan ka ng oxygen, nawalan ka ng tissue perfusion, nagkaroon ka ng heart attack. Okay? So you assume less tiring position. So the non-myocardial infarction partner takes the active role. So kung ikaw ang myocardial infarction, starfish ka muna. Iwas-iwas muna po tayo sa pagpabomba. Okay? Starfish lang muna, higa-higa lang, mga ganon. Okay? You perform sexual activity in a cool, familiar place. Okay? Not very hot. Bakit? Kasi baka ma-trigger yung difficulty of breathing mo. And it should be familiar. Para kapag na-attack naman tayo sa puso, we know what to do, nasaan ang gamot, nasaan ang supplies. You take prescribed nitroglycerin before sexual activity. You refrain from sexual activity after a large meal or during a tiring day. So nagpapahinga din dyan. And moderation of sexual activity should be observed if meron kang palpitations or if you hear your heartbeat through your ears. Dizziness or dyspnea is observed. So kapag may myocardial infarction, ang sexual contact, ang sexual activity, hinay-hinay po tayo. Sabi natin, hindi naman natin pinagbabawal yan, but it should be after you have your improved feelings or improved manifestations of your myocardial infarction. So observe din po natin ang mga kailangan nating gawin at ang ating mga kailangan iwasan sa pag-manage ng ating atake sa puso. Okay? Alright, so that ends our discussion for myocardial infarction, for angina, so and your coronary artery diseases. If there are questions, now is the time to ask. Thank you.